This is Mark Hafen and Heather Lewis from Animal Arts, and we're here to talk to you about enhancing the client experience. And what we're going to do is show you a whole slew of slides and try to capture the essence without boring you with the detail. Fundamentally, we want a familiar, home-like, but professional and calm. And I think supportive is really a key word.
And open also. I think clients ought to have an idea of what's going on.
Right.
And it's sort of like walking into a restaurant. If you just sort of see some scummy outlines of the kitchen, it doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Same kind of thing.
I think so. And I think what you're trying to do here is you're trying to set up a situation where you're fostering communication with the client, and where they're comfortable and they feel like you're all on the same team.
Yeah, I think this is an anti-bureaucracy kind of approach to design, where you really want to have the client involved and engaged.
We're breaking down the walls. This is kind of like the Berlin
Coming-
Wall goes away. This type of thing.
Coming out from behind the back door.
I think so. That's good. And it starts with curb appeal. So, and this is not one of ours. This is before, and this is after. And so you can draw your own conclusions from that. So, open and inviting is fundamental. And once again, this isn't one of ours, but this is what you don't want.
This is the old style, if you haven't figured that out. I do love the hair.
I like that. It's nice. And it makes you feel so special there, I think. So, and hopefully this is better. This is the other side of it. So maybe someday somebody will go back and look at this and compare it to the old one. But
Yeah, and that's always possible. But I think you ought to think about your relationship to the client. This desk actually shows the receptionist standing up, and maybe that's something you want to do.
right. And so we're talking about eliminating barriers here. So the desk doesn't have to be bigger than the house. We want to try to break it down. And what we're doing on a lot of practices is doing a greeter station. So which is as small as is humanly possible for a desk.
Clients are actually forming their assumptions of you as a veterinarian based on what their conversation is with the receptionist when they walk in the door. And if they don't have a good feeling from that interaction, then they're going to draw their own conclusions. Maybe you're not a great veterinarian, and that's probably not the message you want to send.
You can't get by the front desk, then you're dead, right? I mean,
Yes.
That's the first test right there. So another thing is a fun environment. This is a project we did years ago where we actually built a tree in the reception area, and we don't do this very often, but it's really kind of a fun thing to do, and it's just a kick that way. This is another, I think, fun thing. This is a client service bar, but this probably wouldn't sell in L.A., but it's fun. It's a kick. It's something that's different.
I think that the thing that's wonderful about veterinarians
I think it's
about
the chicken.
That's the chicken. That's a wonderful thing. Two chickens, actually.
Chicken, yeah, and that's an apple pie over there.
Awesome.
So.
Well, no, what's wonderful about veterinarians, in all honesty, is have you gone into a human dental clinic? They're all the same.
Yeah,
they
right,
really,
yeah.
really are all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really great about veterinary hospitals is that every single one of them is different, and it sort of shows the personality of the practice and the veterinarians and the people involved. And I think that's the goal.
Mm-hmm. Familiar environment. Yeah, this goes kind of back to what Heather was saying. It doesn't need to look like a dental office. It needs to look like your living room. There's something that's
But
comfortable.
more professional than your living room. But there's
especially
a
my
fine line.
living room.
I think, maybe with fewer kid toys on the floor.
I think so. And also calming and inspiring, and that would leave out your living room also. Heather, so.
Sure would.
not a good situation. Yeah. So, and this is an example of how this does not look like Heather's living room, and that's important. So, but it's supposed to be a calm, comfortable place.
Now,
and that's the idea.
There's also something that's being communicated in this, and message is important in everything. And this is a specialty hospital. Maybe this doesn't work for your down the road veterinary clinic that's supposed to be a lot more home-like, but this is a specialty clinic, so they wanted to show off a little bit, and they chose this rock from Santa Fe and brought it in.
It's neat that way.
Yeah.
And it's a rock is a calming, centering, Zen-like experience. So. We're from Boulder, you have to understand. We get off on these things. Another thing, colorful and stimulating. Who would thought of doing an orange building? But it's fun.
And it gets your eye. You're not going to miss it.
Yeah, it catches it. So, and then stepping inside your building, blue walls, green walls, bright colors for paintings, and this kind of thing. It doesn't need to be dreary.
No, and color is one of the most wonderful tools because Not to say that you should go paint every wall a bright color, but the important thing is that color can be changed so easily. There's nothing less expensive than a bucket of paint. And if you can keep some of the neutral tones on your cabinets and your flooring, and then which is done in this project, and then play up the walls, great.
Yeah. Another idea of some color. So this time, it also kind of goes to what's in, and amazingly enough, green is in right now. And so going back to what Heather says, you might have a green wall this year, and maybe 2 years from now, you might be into fuchsia or pink or something else. But it can change.
It is important to know what the color does to you. Green is a very calming color.
Versus fuchsia or pink.
Right.
Not a good
Not
idea.
a calming color. So if that comes into style, maybe you want to
so.
hold off a few years.
Yeah, you skip that. So, and this is a contrast of what you can do when you don't have color. This is an example of things not to do. This is once again a historical slide. So this is also a jail cell and exam room combination. And this is a more current exam room, and I think this is kind of an interesting contrast to the colorful ones you saw a minute ago. I think this is actually kind of nice because it is calming and clean and neat and simple, and so you don't have to be lots of color every place to make the process work.
No.
The other side of this is kind of an exciting environment. This actually happens to be a little leasehold facility, but it's a 2-story space, and we have a great, neat sculptural exam room element, and we've got bridges up above and balconies to hang off of, and it's really fun to do.
And going back to my point about every veterinary hospital is different, you can break the rules. You can absolutely do something different and do something that hasn't been done. You can change the rules, and that's what's great about developing a veterinary hospital. And if you notice in this picture, there's a couple of exam room doors shown that have glass in them. Why not? I mean, as a client, I hate to sit in an exam room and can't see out. I mean, I really think the hang up on that is not from the client perspective, because who likes to be...
I think it's the vet, I think.
Right.
We pitched glass doors lots, and very seldom have we gotten glass doors.
Right.
And I think vets need to get over this.
They do.
Another one is we talk about clients, and we really ought to take some time to talk about patients, and we need to create environments that are for animals, and they have needs that are separate than what our needs are, and I think we need to really zero in on those.
And absolutely, in this day and age where there should be no back part of your hospital that nobody can go to, and that's usually where the patients are kept, and sometimes it's the worst part of the hospital, but that's really not okay, because those environments are supporting wellness and healing and all those kinds of things, and just the psychological well-being of the patient. I have a hound dog, and every time I take her to the vet, she's howling for hours on end, so they're very happy to have her in the back. But if she were in an environment that kind of supported her a little bit more emotionally or psychologically or whatever dogs need, then I think that'd be better for her.
Well, on the other side, I've got a standard poodle, and when you put him in the back, he howls. So he has to be brought up to the front desk all the time when I take him to the vet.
Oh, nice.
So this is the other side of it. See,
yeah.
So, but going back, this talk is supposed to be about client experience, and what you're saying to the client by putting their pet in a lousy environment says a lot. Okay, so there's a need for you to do this for the animal's sake, and there's also a need to do it from a client perspective.
It actually doesn't have to cost as much as you think. Your standard stainless steel run stuff is about $100 per square foot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you making things better or making things worse by doing that?
Seriously. So for that $100, what kind of finishes could you put on a wall?
Yeah. Another thing to work on with the client experience is just a learning environment. And this actually is a waiting area where we had a pull down screen, and where you can do puppy classes, and once again on this one, all the furniture here is all mobile, so you could pull it all out of there, and you could have a puppy class and still be very workable.
Once again, break down the barriers between you and the client. I think that's the key.
Yeah. The basic process here, I think, is a supporting, caring environment, for the animals, for the client. This is what you're really trying to convey. Is you're trying to make this thing a comfortable easy experience. They're already stressed. They're not there because they're happy about their existence. They're there because they have a crisis of some sort going on with their pet, most likely. So what can you do to break that down? Another thing to do, what we like to do, is try to break down the walls between, the front and the back, between you and the client. Try to make this thing as transparent as possible.
And clients are up to that. They're up to that challenge. They absolutely are.
I think they definitely are. So.
Yeah, and in fact, if they can participate and see a little bit of what's going on, it just helps their comfort level. And I know there are things that aren't appropriate necessarily for every client to see, but there's a lot of stuff that's perfectly okay.
And I think the open environment also extends to the exterior of the building. Isn't it neat to be able to drive up to a building and actually be able to see into it, to get a glimpse of what's going on? This works for retail sales. This is why they have windows in retail establishments, because people want to be able to see what they're walking into. So try to work with that process also.
So on the whole, think about the process from your client's perspective, and they want to know, they want to be educated, they want to be informed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think what we're really talking about is an enhanced environment, trying to set the stage, to reach out to your clients, to break down the barriers, to express who you are, to enfold and comfort your clients, and in the process to provide the best possible care.